A sigh of relief for one family as they celebrate the return of four relatives after they were kidnapped by Hamas. 48-year-old Hen Goldstein Almag and her three children were released from Gaza Sunday. Her husband, Nadav, and their oldest daughter sadly were killed in front of them before they were taken from their kibbutz on October 7th. Galia MIzrahi is Navad's cousin. She says that she screamed at the top of her lungs when she saw her cousin's wife and kids being released from Gaza. Galia is with us now. Thank you for being here. I know that your heart hurts, but you're also celebrating some family members who have come home. Tell me how they're doing.
Thank you for having me on the show. Yeah, they arrived on Sunday, part of the third release or exchange. They're doing okay. They are still at the Children's Hospital, Schneider Hospital in Central Israel. They are going through nutritional and psychological and physical examination. We are super happy to have them back, but they are very, very pale, ghost-like pale. And they are also very, very thin. So it's easing them back into nutrition, so where they can digest food, and also coaxing them to share their experiences and share their emotions and feelings of what they went through. We anticipate them being relocated to a hotel in central Israel in Tel Aviv with other family members who will share a floor with them to just kind of embrace them back into the family unit. And search will begin for a short-term or long-term rental to get them back into everyday life, because they're now homeless, as well as other family members of mine who are living in the same kibbutz.
Were they with their mother while they were being held hostage?
Yes, the family unit was together, and we're very, 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 very grateful for that. They exited the home together, literally not looking back into the room where Nadav, my cousin, and their oldest daughter, Yam, lay dead. And they were kept together while in captivity. We do know that they were shuffled around below and underground during their 51 days of captivity, but they did remain as a family unit.
What more has Hen shared, if anything, at this point about her time being kept?
So it's like peeling an onion. We don't get a lot of information. The psychologist told us not to pry and too much, and just kind of listen in as the information comes out. We do know that food was scarce. We do know that there was not a lot of things for them to do during the day, right? So it's just a lot of sitting around and just dealing with the unknown. Chen is a social worker by profession, so I think that was an advantage to have her there with her family and given the proper tools to cope. They spent a lot of time grieving the loss of their father and sister and talking about what had happened. There's one story that she did share, that in one of the homes that they were shuffled into, their radio happened to be on. And she heard Nadav's dad, the kid's grandfather, on Israeli radio giving an interview and emphasizing that the family is looking for them and campaigning for their return. And the fact that they were able to hear that gave them a little bit of hope that they have not been forgotten and that there are people searching for them to get them back.
Wow, it's surreal. I know for you to have them back and to hear what they witnessed and experienced over these last 7-8 weeks. How do you feel about the ceasefire expiring now with still 137 hostages kept in Gaza?
I'm very, very concerned. In the past couple of months, I've been campaigning for this cause to advocate not just for my own family, but for other families as well. And I've gotten to know personally a lot of other families. And there's, I think, 149 innocent civilians still being held captive. And as we now learn what the conditions are, and then there are publicized eyewitness accounts of what other hostages have seen in terms of the terms of captivity, and that actually the men in captivity are being kept in worse conditions and are actually being tortured. This makes me very, very nervous. I understand the dynamics and the conflict where they could not keep up the deal, and Qatar wasn't able to mediate between the two, and that we're going back in there. So I have ambivalent feelings about it. I hope that they will rescind and we'll find another way to communicate with Hamas to continue these spurts of release.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.